that Attitude Era when you were taking a look at, everything you could do on the WCW side to compete, that might be on the list. But I'm with you. What a phenomenal year this was. It felt like a return to form to that era. I found myself for years and years just recording Raw and recording SmackDown and watching and fast forward. I'm not going to hate watch something. If I'm not into it, I'm going to fast forward it. I'm going to slow down and watch the stuff that I want to see, or if something people are really a buzz about it, I'm going to watch that. But I know there's a lot of long suffering wrestling fans who feel like they're obligated to watch everything like it was their freaking job. And then they hate it. And it's like, I don't want to do that. But I didn't do that with this storyline. And I was really into the Sami and Roman Reigns storyline. And a lot of people were convinced at the time that the WWE was making a mistake. It shouldn't be Cody and Roman at WrestleMania. It should have been Cody, Roman, and Sami Zayn, or maybe just Sami Zayn and Roman. What we got instead were two incredible main events. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens beating the Usos at night 1 at WrestleMania in the main event, and then in night 2, it was Cody and Roman. With the benefit of hindsight, was that the right call? I know that there's a lot of Sami Zayn fans on the internet wrestling community who believe that, they have intentionally cooled him off. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. I think it was a part of the story. And I wonder sometimes, was Sami, there's no doubt that Sami's an incredible performer, whether it's the promos or the in-ring work or the storytelling or any of that stuff. I think he shined brightest when he was a part of the Bloodline, when he was a part of that ensemble cast. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think sometimes we've seen guys who were really successful in a band, and then when they go out and they try their solo career, it's not as effective. And I wonder, was the highest and best use of Sami with the Bloodline? And if maybe fans feel like he's lost some momentum, is it just because he's on, for lack of a better word, his solo tour? What do you think about Sami Zayn's position in the company? I mean, I've even seen speculation where people say, oh, he must have fallen out of favor with The Office. I just don't see that. What say you?
Oh, I don't know if I doubt that he's fallen out of favor with The Office after performances like he provided. I think if anything, he's got 100% more confidence now than he did prior to his involvement in the Bloodline storyline. It's interesting, and I couldn't help but smile when you said some fans think that WWE is intentionally cooling him off. I don't disagree, but not for the same reason. Wouldn't it be spectacular if somehow, and I think Sami's off TV for a while now, isn't he? Hasn't he been off TV for a couple weeks? I think so. Or I've read that he's going to be. But I think it'd be really interesting to cool him off and almost allow the audience to forget about him until it's time to bring that bloodline story back to the forefront again.
Yes.
Come in here and say Merry Christmas to everybody. Come on now. She's getting ready.
Hey, there she is. Mrs. B in the house. Merry Christmas.
Is everybody ready?
Well, ready or not, here we come. I mean,
I know. We're not ready either.
Hey, right?
Good to see everyone.
Good to see you.
She's bringing me more coffee. Isn't that sweet? God, she's hot. Oh, I'm so lucky. Where were we? She distracted me.
That guy can sell. You said cool Sami Zayn off for a bit.
Yeah, no, cool him off for a little bit until it's time to bring this whole storyline, Cody Rhodes thing all back to the forefront again. You don't want to do it too soon. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Sami Zayn intricately involved in what's coming up for WrestleMania. And if I'm right, and it's just a guess, but if I'm right, the cooling off of Sami Zayn has been very intentional. It has a purpose, and it'll have a payoff.
So, listen, every WWE PLE, the premium live event, seemed bigger than it seemed the year before. I mean, Peacock was getting bigger and in more homes, and more people were signing up. And I mean, the whole event business changed with the opportunity to have them on the network and now on Peacock. But I wonder, from a business perspective, what do you think of this trend moving away from pay-per-view? Like, at this point, a lot of folks, like even the GCW, this past year they were on Fight Plus. You didn't buy the individual pay-per-views, you did a subscription model, and you got them all. Do you think that's the new move that everybody in wrestling is going to wind up doing? I mean, WWE's doing it. It feels like AEW could be next. Is that the future? Is pay-per-view as a whole, in your opinion, dead in wrestling?
I think it's like linear television. It's not dead, but it's dying a little more every day.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I do think that will be the future because this is your fingertips. It's on your phone. You can do it instantaneously while you're driving if you have to, or while you're riding as a passenger, preferably. But yeah, it's just right there. It's on your phone. It's at your fingertips. It's instantaneous. It can be spontaneous. You don't have to be sitting in front of your television to do it. It's so easy. Yes, I think, and so much more profitable. Everybody makes more money. It's awesome. And the fact that AEW's not done it yet is surprising. Perhaps they'll do a deal with Fightful down the road or with somebody else. But why would you wait? Why? What's the advantage in waiting? What's the disadvantage in doing it early? I don't know. Early adopters in technology have a tendency to come out on top as opposed to waiting for everybody else to do it and kind of following up from behind. So I don't know. It's interesting. But I do agree. I think it's all going to be everything is going to be at our fingertips. Heck, on Signos, I can monitor my blood sugar on my phone.
Right.
I absolutely would want to order pay-per-views that way. I mean, come on.
It's a whole new world, man. And it's crazy to think too that WWE in January celebrated 30 years of Monday Night Raw. I mean, who would have ever imagined that was a thing? You know, like when that show first started, people were sure it was going to, collapse. People were sure it wasn't going to work. Like it was a total departure from what they've been doing. And there's even interviews with Paul Heyman back in the day, saying that, he didn't. I'm shocked that Raw made it 30 years. I'll say that. I mean, you think about how great Nitro was, and to think, man, it was like 6 years. At this point, Raw's 30 years old. We're about to be 31 years old. That's a hell of a milestone for any show, much less wrestling, right?
There are people that show up at wrestling conventions, autograph signings, independent wrestling shows for sure, that don't ever remember a time in their lives when Raw hasn't been on television. Think about that.
Right.
Raw, there are 31-year-old adults with kids of their own walking around today, and Raw has been on literally their entire lives. Is there another television show that can say that?
Not a wrestling one for sure.
I don't know of any other show that could say they've been around.
Oh, come on. Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, okay. You're right.
Jeopardy. All those like
game shows.
Young and the Restless and shit like that. All those soap operas. There's a few.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
But still, like wrestling.
That's prime time. How about that?
There you go.
Right. Yay. Winner, chicken dinner. Yay. I love it.